Hallelujah, amigos. The moment you've all been waiting for. It's the show with no name, and it's time for liftoff, baby. Let's go. Countdown with me. I don't care what day it is. We've got a lot to do. Wake up, sleepyhead.
Ignition.
Up and at 'em.
Liftoff.
Arriba y a por ellos. Here we go. Come on. Hold on tight. Get ready. Hold on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on
ready.
to your hat. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time. On Vaughn Radio. It's a show with no name. Yeah, baby. You know it. Come on in. Let's go. All right, amigos, welcome to another exciting edition of Drive Time. Oh, no, wait. That's Kyle's show. Welcome to another exciting edition of The Pro Bow Show. Nope, that's Rob Graham's. Man, I can't get this right. All right, I've got it. Welcome to No Excuses with Fitz. Nope. No, that's the show before this show. I've got it. Welcome to Test Your English. This is Ximena Holiday. Oh, wait, let me try it again. Hello, welcome to Test Your English. This is Ximena Holiday at your service. Welcome to another lovely edition. Nacho, are you ready? I swear I'm going to get it right. All right. Welcome to another edition of The Salad. No, that's Dave Boyce. Frankly speaking, I can't remember the name of my show. Oh, wait. There's another one. Frankly Speaking with Chris Frank. So many amazing shows here on Vaughn Radio, and all you have to do is download our free app, and this way you can learn along with us, amigos. And if you love to learn, I think like all of us do, well, that's something we have in common. That's something that I think any good teacher needs as well. You can't call yourself a good teacher if you're not a good learner. Am I right or am I right? All right, amigos, welcome to the show. So much to do. So let's kick off with our speaking exercise. I'll give you this week's question of the week. Yeah! Question of the week. All right, folks, it is question of the week here. And this week, we're going to take a look at something that is pretty lighthearted. What does that mean? Well, lighthearted. It's not too serious. You know, it's not like talking about death or politics or religion. It's lighthearted. So this week, I want to know the fanciest place you have ever been. The swankiest place you have ever been in your life. Not where you want to go. Because you might say, oh, the bistro on the French Riviera. Hey, why not? So fancy. Let me give you some synonyms. Luxurious, posh, ritzy, lavish, right? High end. And there are many other ways to say it. But however you want to word it, make sure that you send us a voice note. You can send it to my email address. It's aalonso@grupovon.com. And this week, I think it's a fun one, and you can show off a little bit. Don't just show off your English, but you can show off. Tell us the swankiest place you've ever been, the fanciest place you've ever been. It can be a restaurant, it can be a city, it can be a country club. It's up to you. But remember to keep it at around a minute. And once you know it, well, you can record it on your phone. You can rehearse it if you want. That's up to you. And the idea is to get comfortable speaking and sharing your opinion in English. So, what is the fanciest place you've ever been? I urge you all to participate in this week's question of the week. We'll do it on Friday, as always. Send me your answers before Thursday evening. And now it's time for your pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Sing it. I don't care what day it is. We all need a little energy, a little excitement, a little Here we go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. All right, amigos, it's our pop quiz, and today we're going to listen to something from Vocabulario que deberías conocer. It's just one of the many amazing Vaughn materials you can pick up. Remember, we've got the Vaughn Tienda. You can go online. It's the vaughntienda.com. And also, you can stop by in person. We're located in many different cities. Barcelona, we're in Valencia, we're in Valladolid, we're in Zaragoza as well, and many other amazing places. So stop by in person, or you can stop by and pick up any of our amazing materials, or just chat with somebody and get a free consultation. It's vaughntienda.com. Also, if you're looking for courses, always remember, we've got some of the best deals that we've got currently at grupovon.com/cursos destacados. And really, if you've never signed up for a course with us or never gotten any of our materials, trust me, you're going to love them. How do I know that? Well, if you love Vaughn Radio, then you're going to love the Vaughn method, because that's applied to all of our materials. So as you know, when we listen to these audios, you hear Ximena. You hear familiar voices. And the cool thing, too, as you know, when we do this section every day, aside from hearing a different voice from mine, we hear different accents, not just in the Say What soundbite, but also in these audio clips. So don't forget, all our books, all of our materials, all of our self-study resources come with audio. Now, are you ready for this? In this book that we're going to look at today, Vocabulario en Inglés que deberías conocer, take a guess as to how many vocabulary words you'll find in this book. Go ahead, guess. Did you say 1,000? Did you say 2,000? Nope. 3,000? Nope. 4,000? What? More than 4,000 words? You gotta be shitting me. Aquí shitting es bromeando, ¿eh? Es vulgar, es la palabra shit. Es como decir, you've gotta be kidding me. Pero es un totally native. Ten cuidado donde lo uses. Con amigos. Are you shitting me? No es me estás cagando de miedo o te cagando encima. It's like when you say, I'm pooped. It doesn't mean que te cagaste. It means you're really tired. Well, if you want to learn vocabulary like this, you can learn it in Vocabulario en Inglés que deberías conocer for $10, under $10. You'll get 4,500 vocabulary words in context. And that's around 5 hours of audio, amigos. That's awesome. So now, as always, I'm going to play a little excerpt from the material. In this case, it's written by Richard Vaughn, by the way, the master. And it's called Vocabulario en Inglés que deberías conocer. Pay close attention, and afterwards I'll have a mission or two for you. Listen carefully. This is Vocabulario en Inglés que deberías conocer.
List 102.
Una calle de sentido único.
A one-way street.
La historia antigua.
Ancient history.
Atenas.
Athens.
Encantador.
Charming.
Complejo.
Complex.
Tasa de mortalidad.
Death rate.
Declive.
Decline.
Valla. Cerca.
Fence.
Adelante.
Go ahead.
Gráfico.
Graph.
Culpable.
Guilty.
Inspección.
Inspection.
Monstruo.
Monster.
Kiosco.
Newsstand.
Razonablemente.
Reasonably.
Seminario.
Seminar.
Estantería.
Shelf.
Pantalones cortos.
Shorts.
Seguridad social.
Social security.
Mancha. Punto.
Spot.
Técnica.
Technique.
La marina.
The navy.
La verdad.
The truth.
Neumáticos.
Tires.
Cera.
Wax.
List 103.
Ambiguo.
Ambiguous.
Vela. De cera.
Candle.
Tapa. Cubierta.
Cover.
Cliente.
Customer.
Entusiasta.
Enthusiastic.
Fiebre.
Fever.
Pasillo.
Hallway.
Titulares.
Headlines.
Ignorante.
Ignorant.
Juez.
Judge.
Cuero.
Leather.
Desordenado.
Messy.
Tiburón.
Shark.
Disparo.
Shot.
Gambas.
Shrimp.
Algo así como
Something like.
espía.
Spy.
Tecnología.
Technology.
Motivar.
To motivate.
Agradar. Complacer.
To please.
Separar.
To separate.
Enviar mercancías.
To ship.
Problemas.
Trouble.
Melodía.
Tune.
Riqueza. Patrimonio.
Wealth.
List 104.
Reto. Desafío.
Challenge.
Campeón.
Champion.
Crisis.
Crisis.
Multitud.
Crowd.
Exigente.
Demanding.
Bastante.
Fairly.
Moda.
Fashion.
Pelea. Lucha.
Fight.
Combustible.
Fuel.
Gradualmente.
Gradually.
Hecho a mano.
Handmade.
Importador.
Importer.
Incentivo.
Incentive.
Lógico.
Logical.
Motivado.
Motivated.
Personalmente.
Personally.
La sociedad.
Society.
Estabilidad.
Stability.
Adolescente.
Teenager.
Reconocer. Admitir.
To admit.
Hacer turismo.
To go sightseeing.
Nombrar.
To name.
Reflexionar.
To reflect.
Túnel.
Tunnel.
Adinerado.
Wealthy.
Do you know about Vaughn groups? Well, I'm going to tell you all about them. They are group English classes that you can do via video conference or in person. And the good news is you can start whenever you want. And you can keep the same timetable, teacher, and classmates throughout the whole course. And the best part, there's no strings attached. Sin compromiso. And if you act now, you can get a 5% discount for paying up front. And if you stick with the course for 6 months, you'll get a 50% discount in June. Wow, what a deal! As if you needed more reasons to learn English with Vaughn. Check out our Vaughn groups. Have fun and make friends as you learn English. Sign up now while there are still spots available. Call us 911-385831, or you can go to our website, grupovon.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media and find out if Vaughn groups are for you. More information at grupovon.com/cursos destacados. All right, I see we've got a lot of show with no namers in the house. Hello, everybody. Welcome, and thanks for joining us. Whether you're tuned in live or listening to the podcast, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you in my class, but I require something from you. I require participation. Even if you can't write things down, I at least want you, or in fact, I would prefer, if you're not going to write them down, I mean, you write things down to remember them. But the real way to remember them is to write them down and say them, right? So if I teach you a new word, which we just heard many words in vocabulario que deberías conocer, I'm sure some of those words you were familiar with, and some of them you probably knew, like crisis, which is crisis. There are some of the words are good just to remind you that pero no se pronuncia igual. So this is a great material. It's Richard Vaughn putting together the most common words in the language from all different areas. And for under $10, you can have 4,500 words with audio. And again, it's up to you to put them into context, to put them into practice. And that's what we're going to do right now in our pop quiz. All right, the first one the first one I'm going to give you, you heard many words, but I'm going to give you 3, as I always do, is una calle de un sentido. All right, I want you to use that in context. Una calle de un sentido. All right, were you paying attention? That one was right at the beginning. Una calle de un sentido. All right, the second one. You say pasillo. Pasillo. Can you use it in context? So it sounds like we're talking about your neighborhood, around the house, right? El pasillo. These are pretty common words. You know, you can even link them together. Un pasillo. Y luego, the first one is una calle de un sentido. And the third one, I'm going to ask you for a little creativity. They used the word spy, which that's another one. I'm sure you know the word spy. Pero cuidado, no es spy. It's spy. I think they're spying on us. To spy on. Y de hecho es bueno aprenderlo con la preposición. Are you spying on me? So, you guys have a game. We have a game. And I'm sure the little kids in Russia have a game. Veo, ¿qué ves? Una cosita. ¿Qué cosita es? I remember learning that in Spanish. I probably learned that jingle when I was 2. A shout out to my Aunt Herminia. She used to sing all those kids' songs to us. Veo, veo. Well, she was a teacher. Makes sense. So she knew how to get us speaking Spanish or singing in Spanish. Now, here's what I want from you. How do you say this in English? This is good for all you parents out there, right? Veo, veo, ¿qué ves? And you spot different objects around the house, no? Dices cosas que ves. Same. The idea is the same behind it. You know, a lot of games are the same. El escondite. We call it, do you know? Did you say hide and seek? Yes. We say esconde y busca. Hide and seek. What about tres en raya? We call it tic-tac-toe. Tic-tac-toe. And what about this one on the playground where you jump? No me acuerdo ahora cómo se llama en español. Y mi hija sí que lo sabe. At the playground, in el parque de niños, you've got one where you jump from these different squares. 1, 2, 3. We call that one hopscotch. You've got jump rope. You've got marbles. Canicas, I think you say in Spanish. These are classic things. These are things that are, I would say, even global. They're not even Spanish things. You know, these classic games, these classic toys, they're not just exclusive to one area. Now, everybody has got their own version of them. So let's see if you guys know them. Those are your words. The first one is una calle de un sentido. The second one is pasillo. And remember, you've got to use them in context. And the third one is, how do you say that game? Veo, veo, que ves, una cosita. But obviously, you got to tell me how in English. And before we go to our commercial break, let's give you a little challenge. How about some homophones?
Homophones, homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
All right, my amigos, it's homophones here on the show with no name. I'll give these to you, and then we'll go to a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, we'll take a look at the answer to this. We'll also take a look at your pop quiz answers, which, by the way, great job. Excellent job, amigos. Wonderful, wonderful job. And so, yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to do. So let me give you our homophones, and this way we can at least get some time back. Because you know, guys, once we start rolling, there's no stopping us. No hay quien nos pare. Que nos pare. I don't know the structure in Spanish. There's no stopping us. That's a great structure. All right. Well, the first word is ir in, to travel by, montar en. It also means montar, coger el autobús, llevar a alguien, cabalgar. It's also atracción. It's a very, very rich word. It's also un viaje in the poetic sense of the word. So that is the first word. The second word is asalto, incursión, ataque, redada. That's a very strong word. Are you familiar with these words? Do they sound the same? Let us know in the comments. We're going to take a quick commercial break, amigos. We'll be right back with the answer to that. We've also got our spelling bee. We've got Double Trouble, Name That Lyric, Name That Movie, and so many more challenges. So much to learn, so much fun to be had here on the show with no name. So don't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Welcome back. Welcome back, amigos. Time for part 2 of today's show with no name. I know you might have been sleepy when we started out, but you should be wide awake right now. No excuses, like my friend Fitz says. As I always say, it's not just a radio show. It's a philosophy. No excuses, not just to somebody else. It's something you should say to yourself, aloud. Oh, so what's my excuse for not doing exercise today? What's my excuse for not eating right? Right? We've always got to hold ourselves accountable for our behavior, for our actions, I think. If there's no accountability, especially as a teacher, but not just in professions, I mean, like in your everyday life. Everything is applicable if you think about it. All right, amigos, so much to do. We're going to kick off with our Say What soundbite. Then we'll check our homophones and our pop quiz. And then we're going to New York City in today's Spelling Bee. And you guys know it's always special when we take a trip home. But right now, it's time for the Say What soundbite. Say what? What? All right, folks, Say What soundbite. I think this one should be pretty easy. Prove me wrong. Oh, no, prove me right. I'm like, wait a second. Something doesn't sound right there. Well, you can tell it's Monday. Monday's Monday. No matter how much oomph or energy you put into it, you're always a little bit slower on the uptake. To be slow on the uptake, estás un poco lentito, no lo pillas. Vas con un poco de retraso. Hey, at least I admit it. All right, folks, as always, you're going to hear this 4 times. You'll have 4 chances to jot it all down. And, after these first 2 listens right now, I just want your take. I want your opinion based on what you heard. So everybody pay attention. Here it is for the first time.
The most dangerous thing that a young actor or actress can do is to believe their own publicity. Because shelf life, 10 years, if you're a star at 20 or 22 or 3 or 4, if you haven't got it, if you've got it, you've got the right instincts, the right imagination, the right powers of invention.
All right. Wow. What a deep voice, a soothing, warm voice, a powerful voice. All right. That's my take. I want your take. Here it is for the second time.
The most dangerous thing that a young actor or actress can do is to believe their own publicity. Because shelf life, 10 years, if you're a star at 20 or 22 or 3 or 4, if you haven't got it, if you've got it, you've got the right instincts, the right imagination, the right powers of invention.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace. Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. All right, you guys are the shit show with no namers. Wow. I'm just taking a look at the homophones over here in the comments, and what? I didn't fool any of you. You were all on it, and you all got it. The two words do not sound the same, not at all. But, I just want to make sure, because I always say this at this section in the show, but it's really important, not just that you know it if you have time to think about it, but that you know it instinctively. Because when you're talking, when you're in the middle of a conversation, you don't have 2 seconds. You have a microsecond to think, como es raid or ride or raider, raider, rider. So I'm again, excellent. But make sure you get it right every time, not just here on the homophone section on the show with no name, but anytime you have to use it. And why do I tell you that? Well, because you don't know how many times I've heard Tom Ryder. Tom Ryder? Who the f is Tom Ryder? It's Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider. So not Tom Ryder. So claro, Según esa lógica, raid se pronuncia ride. Pero no, right? You just told me in the comments, no. So, make sure you don't just know it in theory, but that anytime you come across those letters together, you say it the right way. So let's take a look at the words, the first word being ride. It's a really good word to know if you didn't know the word ride, right? You know me, I love rides. Me encanta las atracciones. I love riding the rides, right? Me encanta montarme en las atracciones. I love riding the rides. It's a little bit redundant, but you can say I love going on the rides. The reason I'm telling you it is just to use it in context. It's an irregular verb. It's ride, rode, ridden. Okay? Ride, rode, ridden. And as I said before, so a fairground attraction, atracción, ride. Montar, to go on a horse, to go on a motorcycle, to ride a horse. Horseback riding es montar a caballo, right? Also, to ride the bus, he rides the bus to work. Eso es ir en. He rides the train. He rode the train yesterday. It's an easy way to remember that too. He rode the train down the road. Road, no carretera, se pronuncia igual que el pasado de este verbo. So ride, rode, ridden. Y ojo, no riding, ridden, right? Also, we said viaje. Enjoy the ride. Disfruta el viaje. This is not just an idiomatic expression, it's a philosophy. Life's a ride. Enjoy it. Also, a ride is, ¿me puedes llevar? Can you give me a ride? Yeah, I can give you a ride. No problem. No problem. Just be careful. Don't say, can you ride me? Eso es montarte encima de mí. That's a sexual position. So, can you ride me? Well, it depends who you're talking to. Can you give me a ride? Well, also depends on who you're talking to. You don't want to get a ride from anybody in both cases. So those are those nuances we want to be careful with, right? Also, a ride is not just un paseo que te lleve en coche, but also it's used to say a car. Es como una forma ahí de slang, de jerga, de decir coche. Hey, man, nice ride. Me gusta tu coche. Hey, hop in. I'll give you a ride. I'll take you for a ride. Pero no digas I'll ride you. Bueno, a no ser que te vas a poner encima. Hey, you need to know this stuff. So ride. The other one is raid. Raid. Now, it doesn't have as many meanings, but a raid is un asalto, una incursión, a sudden attack. It's also una redada y hacer una redada. So let me give it to you in context. The police raided the warehouse. There was a raid, o sea, usándolo como verbo y sustantivo. There was a huge raid at the warehouse. Police raided the warehouse at 7 p.m., right? So that's also hacer una redada, to raid. So excellent job, amigos. I couldn't fool you. I tried to fool you, but I couldn't. All right, let's see how you did in the pop quiz. I see also many people participating. The first one is a one-way street. That's right. Is this a one-way street? Right? A one-way street. Now, it's interesting because if you say a two-way street and a one-way street in the poetic sense, in the figurative sense, you're talking about a situation, well, in the case of a two-way street, a relationship or a situation where it's mutual. There's reciprocal action and or obligation. So love is a two-way street. Relationships in business or personally are a two-way street. You give and you take. Es un toma y daca, a give and take, right? Afloja y So it's a two-way street. If somebody tells you this relationship is a one-way street, means it's not reciprocal. One person is doing more than the other. And in that case, then maybe you're in a dead end. These are all idiomatic expressions that have to do with enjoying the ride. El viaje, coches, right? So a dead end, un callejón sin salida, pero también es una situación sin salida. A one-way street. This is a situation where somebody's putting in more. They have more vested interest, more energy than the other. A two-way street is where it's equal. It's fair and square. The second word is hallway. Now, the British say, do you know what the British say? Let's see if you know it. Did you say corridor? Yes. Yes, it's the third door on the left, right down the corridor. We say hall or hallway. Se puede decir cualquiera. He lives down the hall. Down the hall, vive un poco, unas puertas más abajo. I remember it reminds me of our dorm rooms at university, right? One of my best friends lived down the hall. And the name of our hall, Residencia, was called Bone Hall. I'm being serious. So there were a lot of halls in Bone Hall. Había muchos, the words, it could be a double trouble. In fact, I just wrote it down. So it will be a double trouble. Now, if you wanted to be more specific, you could say hallway. But you can say hall, that's fine. But also hall is sala, it's residencia, right? That's a concert hall. Radio City Music Hall, there's a famous one. It's a good word, it's a rich word, that word hall. Hall or hallway. Otra vez, hallway siendo mucho más específico, un pasillo, right? Y cuidado si hablamos de pasillo en un avión. Do you know how to say that one? O en el teatro. We call that an aisle. Se escribe A-I-S-L-E. Aisle. So, excellent job there on the second one and the last one, which was the toughest one. Veo, ¿qué ves? Una cosita. ¿Qué cosita es? And we say, I spy with my little eye. Something beginning with, and you say the letter or the color, depending on how old your kids are. The first letter usually of the object. And usually the other players have to guess. You know where it's played very often? In the car. Yeah, we're talking a lot about driving in cars today. It wasn't my plan, but for some reason, it's driving me crazy. All right, I'll stop with the corny jokes. So I spy, yo espío. Y fijaos, no hay una E. No es I espy, sino I spy with my little eye. Something beginning with S. Let's see if you guys can guess it. I spy with my little eye. Something beginning with the letter S. Can you guess the object? Well, where am I? I'm in the studio. Did you say screen? Pantalla? Yes. It's a good way to practice vocabulary, to practice asking questions. Wonderful job, everybody, in our pop quiz and our homophone section. But right now, we are going to up the ante. Vamos a subir el listón in our spelling bee.
Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
All right, amigos, it is our spelling bee here on the show with no name. And as always, this is one of the most challenging sections here on the show, but I believe in you guys. I know you guys are going to be able to figure it out. So here we go. This is round one of our spelling bee. And as always, I am going to be ruthless, despiadado. I am not going to be nice at all. Hey, sometimes you're going to come across these kind of people in life. So here we go. Let's start the first letter of each word with a capital letter for the sake of simplicity. The first one is CHRYSLER space BUILDING. The second one is ART space DECO space SKYSCRAPER. The third one is 42ND space STREET. The fourth one, LEXINGTON space AVENUE. The fifth one is MIDTOWN space MANHATTAN. And the sixth one is a number 1046 feet. ¿Quieres estar al tanto de todas nuestras promociones en la Vaughan Esfera? Well, now you can be in the loop. Puedes estar al tanto. Puedes enterarte de ofertas, novedades y eventos. Y mucho más. Puedes encontrar todo eso en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Eso es, en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Ahí tendrás toda la información de última hora. Guárdalo como favorito. grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. And stay in the loop. All right, amigos. Remember, you can find out about everything going on this summer, but don't wait. Don't put it off any longer because they are filling up. I'm sure there are only a few spots left, if any, in our urban camps, our summer camps, especially our stuff that's exclusive to the summer. So get in on the action, métete en el ajo, and hopefully we will have you improving your English and falling in love with our courses as much as you are in love with your classes here on the radio. And it's important. It's important to be in love with what you're doing, not just love it. Yeah, I love chocolate. I don't eat it every day. That's not true. I don't love chocolate. I love sweets. That's not true either. I love pizza. There's an example. I love pizza. I'm not in love with pizza. You see what I mean? It's a lot deeper when you're in love with something. So don't just love English, fall in love with English. All right, let's take a look over here, see if anybody got these on the first go. And I see a couple students who nailed it. Wow, impressive, impressive. All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let's do round two. And we'll see if anybody else can get it as well. The first one is CHRYSLER space BUILDING. The second one is ART space DECO space SKYSCRAPER. The third one is 42ND space STREET. The fourth one is LEXINGTON space AVENUE. I almost got confused there. The fifth one is MIDTOWN space MANHATTAN. And the last one is a number 1,046 feet. There you go, amigos. I see a lot of people are coming with me on this journey to New York, where we are going to learn all about the Chrysler Building. Did you just notice that? Did I say Chrysler or did I say Chrysler? I'm pretty sure it's Chrysler Building. So say, you can be the only one in your group of friends who says it right. Another one, Greenwich Village. No sabes las veces que he oído Greenwich. No. It's Greenwich. Hey, estos son cosas, as I said, it's Greenwich. Y mira, ahí tienes dos palabras difíciles. No Greenwich Village, sino Greenwich Village and the Chrysler Building. So please join me as we go to this amazing city, this amazing building in this amazing city, smack dab in the center of Midtown Manhattan, the Big Apple. We'll take a look at that after our commercial break. We also have to listen to our Say What soundbite. We've got Double Trouble, movies, lyrics, and so much more up ahead. So if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Say it with me. Stick around. Hello, amigos. Welcome back. Welcome back to part 3 of today's show with no name on Vaughn Radio. And don't forget to listen to all our exciting shows. We've got shows all day. All different accents, all different ideas, but we all have one thing in common. We are in love with what we do. We don't love it. We're in love with it. It's a passion. It's a passion. Oh, it's a passion. This is the rhythm of the night. I hope you guys are having fun. I know. Don't remind me what day it is. I know already. I'm trying to distract myself. Trying to keep you guys distracted too. We're distracting each other while we learn, while we laugh, and wow, we've got a lot of stuff to do in this part of the show. Plus, I've got a little surprise for you down the road. So you're not going to want to miss the end of today's show. We're going to kick off this section with our Double Trouble. Wait, did I say Double Trouble? I meant Triple Trouble. Where you're going to have to use the same word 3 times, amigos. What? You got it. Then we've got our Say What soundbite. We'll go to New York City and check out the Chrysler Building. Now that we know it's not pronounced Chrysler, it's Chrysler. Plus famous birthdays and so much more. But let's kick off with our Triple Trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, folks. Welcome to our Triple Trouble. Double? No. Triple Trouble today. And we'll see if you guys have got what it takes. All right, here we go. El tipo que lleva ropa quirúrgica, nunca me sale esa palabra, siempre limpia o frota las manos, menos cuando cancelan la cirugía. Okay, la operación, la cirugía. All right, so, el tipo que lleva ropa, a ver, lo tengo que decir otra vez aquí, man. All right. El tipo que lleva ropa de operar, unas batas médicas. Is that how you say it? I thought I've heard that somewhere. El tipo que lleva la ropa verde esta que llevan los médicos siempre limpia o frota las manos, menos cuando cancelan la cirugía. That's your Triple Trouble. Here's your Say What soundbite as well. Here you've got it for the 3rd time. Let's see if we can make some sense of it.
The most dangerous thing that a young actor or actress can do is to believe their own publicity. Because shelf life, 10 years, if you're a star at 20 or 22 or 3 or 4, if you haven't got it, if you've got it, you've got the right instincts, the right imagination, the right powers of invention.
All right, there we go, folks. And I'll give it to you for the 4th and final time. I know somebody's going to get it.
The most dangerous thing that a young actor or actress can do is to believe their own publicity. Because shelf life, 10 years, if you're a star at 20 or 22 or 3 or 4, if you haven't got it, if you've got it, you've got the right instincts, the right imagination, the right powers of invention.
Howdy, Richard Vaughn here, founder and host of Vaughn Radio. Meet my amazing team.
Hello there, this is Julia from the Let's Get Random show. Let's navigate life together, practicing our English.
Hi, this is Kyle Miller. I present the Drive Time Show every day at 6 o'clock on Vaughn Radio.
Hi, this is Jimena.
Y yo soy Nacho.
And you can listen to us every day on Test Your English
A las 12:30.
at 12:30. Tune in.
This is Fitz from No Excuses. Let's get ready to rumble. Come rumble with me on No Excuses.
This is Chris with Frankly Speaking. The doors open every night at 7:30. Let's talk soon.
Hi, this is Dave Boyes from The Salad. Join us every day, live at 5.
Hey, it's Alberto Alonso from the show with no name. And don't forget about Rob, Andy, Ruby, and Tino.
Download our free app, Vaughan Radio or Vaughn Radio, and learn English with all of us on the go.
Hey, he just said the name of one of my books, English on the Go. Don't forget, guys, I have 5 books that I've written or co-written, plus many that I've participated on, whether it's recording audio or even just helping with some ideas and things like that. And it's great. Really, we have a wealth of materials, and it's all at your fingertips at vaughntienda.com. If you're looking for courses, do you know the website? grupovaughn.com/ what am I going to say? Cursos destacados. Good job. See, you were paying attention. Just making sure you're on your toes. Estáis espabilados, prestando atención. And I see you are, because many people figured out our triple trouble. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. Woo, is right. So, el tipo que lleva ropa quirúrgica siempre limpia o frota las manos, menos cuando cancelan la cirugía. Now, I thought you would get maybe the first 1 and 2, but I didn't know if you were going to get that third one. That third one was the one that seemed a little bit difficult, you know? So let's take a look at the word scrub. The word scrub is to rub something in order to clean it. To rub, to scrub, you see a similarity there. Fregar, restregar, fregar, restregar, limpiar. I'm going to scrub the bathtub. Mira, riman. I'm going to scrub the bathtub. Okay, to scrub it, you can do it with a brush. You can do it with a Brillo pad. You say Scotch Brite, right? Scotch Brite. Brillo pad. We say a Brillo pad. So also, scrub, well, normalmente en plural, ropa quirúrgica o desechable pone aquí. It's the clothing that they use for surgery. So a surgeon and everybody who's in the operating room, they call it the operating room. You say quirófano. In English, it's a pretty logical word, the operating room. So scrub is to frotar. To scrub is also to cancel, right? They had to scrub the mission, right? So I always think of these space missions. They scrubbed the rocket launch. Why? Well, they had some inclement weather. So great. Now that we know how to pronounce it, now we know it's a regular verb, scrubbed, que se duplica la B y se pone el ed o el ing, siempre con 2 Bs, okay? So scrubbed. So el tipo que llevaba ropa quirúrgica, the guy in scrubs, or wearing scrubs, pero te puedes ahorrar una sílaba ahí. The guy wearing scrubs, or the guy in scrubs, always scrubs his hands, except, barra, o menos, except when they scrub the surgery. O si queremos usar la voz pasiva, we can say when the surgery is scrubbed. So excellent job. And join me over in New York as we take a look at the Chrysler Building. So you want the scoop, la información, la primicia? Is that how you say it? The real deal? All right, the Empire State Building is probably the most famous one, right? Everybody says, oh, el Empire State, el Empire State. But I think nobody, especially not a New Yorker who lives there, and once you've seen the Chrysler building up close and you see the gargoyles, I think you will agree with most New Yorkers that the Chrysler building blows the Empire State Building out of the water. And I know what you're saying. As far as height is concerned, well, that one goes to the Empire State Building, right? But the Chrysler building is far more beautiful. IMO, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many New Yorkers. So, yes, the Chrysler building, it's an Art Deco skyscraper. Remember, not Chrysler. It's named after the car company, Chrysler. And it's an Art Deco skyscraper, which, by the way, there's an FYI episode on skyscrapers. If you haven't given it a listen, give it a listen. So this Art Deco skyscraper, which is still among the tallest buildings in the United States and even in the world, is located at, hay que aprender esto junto, located at, ¿ves todo junto? Located at 42nd and Lexington. Now, what happened there? ¿Qué es eso? Pues in New York, when you give directions, you say the cross streets. So, ¿a qué altura? It's at Broadway and 42nd. Broadway, right? It's 8th Avenue and 24th. So this is between 42nd and Lexington Avenue in the area known as Midtown Manhattan. As you know, we're very logical in New York. You've got downtown, midtown, and uptown. How would I give you the scoop? La primicia? Okay, downtown, the cool area. All the shops, all the, the local stuff, the cool stuff. You're going to find the real New York downtown. Midtown, tourists, enjoy our wonderful city, enjoy Times Square, enjoy the theater district, enjoy Restaurant Row, enjoy Central Park. I can't speak. Enjoy Central Park. All of that is Midtown. Well, Central Park goes into Uptown as well. And then Uptown, well, you've got Uptown and then you've got Uptown. So Uptown around Central Park, well, that's some of the most expensive real estate in the world. And if you go really far uptown, then you start to get into Harlem. And there you can run into, it depends. I mean, these days you're seeing a lot of, a lot of super wealthy people living anywhere near Central Park. So even if it was, like, for example, 125th Street, that's like the most famous street in Harlem. It's where the Apollo Theater is located, also Columbia University as well. And that's uptown up there. It's not, I gotta say, the place I frequented the least was Uptown, because, well, I lived in I'm very lucky. I lived between Midtown and downtown. That's what makes Chelsea such an awesome neighborhood. If I walked 5 blocks up, I'm in Times Square. If I walk 5 blocks down, I'm at the heart of the village. So it's kind of cool. It's what makes it such an attractive area. And I remember I could see the Empire State Building. I couldn't see the Chrysler Building, but I could see the Empire State Building from my street. Number 5, as I said, then Midtown Manhattan. And the last one was 1,046 feet. That's the equivalent of 319 meters. So once again, wonderful job. And now it's time for famous birthday trivia.
Birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Oi, oi, oi. Birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays here on the show with no name. And let's see if you recognize these celebrities that are celebrating a birthday today. Well, this person would have been celebrating her birthday today had she not died. She passed away in 2002, and it was quite sad because she was born in 71. That's pretty crazy. you know? And what happened was she was speeding. To speed is ir en exceso de velocidad. And she was in Honduras, actually. Honduras, we pronounce the H. Honduras, she was, this is the sad part, she was volunteering at a children's development center. So she was helping out, and she was speeding, unfortunately, and she lost control of her SUV. Well, the SUV she was renting. If you're British, you say hiring. We say to rent a car. And what is SUV? What does that stand for? Sport Utility Vehicle. You say un 4x4. Well, 4 of the other passengers were injured. They were hospitalized, but they were able to walk away. She did not walk away. And sadly, she lost her life. She was, again, do the math. She was born today in 1971, and she died in 2002. But I know I haven't told you anything about her yet, just that she died young and that she was working for a charity, una ONG. Well, she's better known by her stage name, Left Eye, Ojo Izquierdo. And she wasn't just a singer. She was a singer, rapper, and probably one of the pioneers of R&B music, at least modern R&B music. She was in the girl group TLC. You guys know that idiomatic or that abbreviation. TLC is Tender Loving Care, El Toque de Cariño. Why do you guys like the show with no name? Because I put a little TLC into it. Un toque de cariño, right? Why do we like anything? Why do you like your mother's torrijas? Because she puts TLC. It's the secret ingredient. Well, that's the name of this band. And the other members, they had their nicknames too. You had T-Boz and Chili. And, well, she won 4 Grammy Awards with the group. And, man, I love that group. I've got to say, some of my favorite TLC songs, and they remind me of my childhood. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Just stick to the rivers and the ones that you used to. And also, so I creep, yeah, I'm coming up and down. They were really, really good. I really remember, and probably one of their most famous songs, Scrubs. No Scrubs. Hey, we looked at that word scrubs today. Well, I didn't tell you the other slang meaning. A scrub is a guy who doesn't have his own thing going on. And what they say in the song is, I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me, hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride. Hey, wait, we looked at the word ride as well. Su coche. So, fíjate, ahí te lo explica todo. So, did you hear what I said? I said, I don't want no scrub. No quiere un chico muerto de hambre. I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me, hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride. Ahí está, colgado por la ventana del coche de su amigo. Oh, man. So a guy who doesn't have his own thing going on, a scrub. And, oh, man, I'm a huge fan there. Then next up, this guy was born in 1962. An American actor, director, producer, and screenwriter. He directed and co-wrote Little Nicky with Adam Sandler. Also Mr. Deeds, Without a Paddle, Heavyweights, and he's also had roles as an actor in the Mighty Ducks movies, the one about the hockey team, The Wedding Singer, Mr. Deeds, which he also directed. He had a cameo, and Knocked Up, que es embarazado. And last but not least, English actor who passed away in 2015. But this guy was an actor, singer, and military officer. He was the James Bond film. He was Francisco Scaramanga in the James Bond film, The Man with the Golden Gun. He was Count Dooku in the first 3 Star Wars films. He's been in Lord of the Rings, Saruman, in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, in Corpse Bride, Sleepy Hollow, Gremlins. Oh my God, the list goes on. All right. Happy birthday to Lisa Left-Eyed Lopez from TLC. Number 2 is Stephen Brill. And number 3 is legendary actor Christopher Lee. And that's going to bring us over here to our Say What soundbite. This is Christopher Lee. And he was talking about how nowadays young actors fall in love with themselves. They don't fall in love with the craft, with acting. They start to believe their own hype, if you will. So, and he's talking about that, a lot of it happens. You see it with when young people get famous and they're not ready for it. And they start to believe that they're special until the phone stops ringing. And that's what he's talking about here. He says what a voice, huh? The most dangerous thing that a young actor or actress can do is believe their own publicity. He says, because shelf life es el tiempo útil. Shelf life, el tiempo que puede estar en la estantería, en el estante. 10 years, if you're a star, 20, 22, 23, 24, if you haven't got it, si no tienes esa cosa especial, that it, what do they call it? The it factor, right? If you don't have that X factor, that it factor that he's talking about. So he's like, or that talent. If you haven't got it, and if you got it, you've got the right instincts, the right imagination, and the right powers of invention. And he goes on to say, well, then you can make it. So here he is, not just good philosophy for actors, but for anybody. Here he is, legendary actor Chris Lee.
The most dangerous thing that a young actor or actress can do is to believe their own publicity. Because shelf life, 10 years. If you're a star, 20 or 22 or 3 or 4. If you haven't got it, if you've got it, you've got the right instincts, the right imagination, the right powers of invention.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Lyric only on the show with no name, and this is Scrubs by TLC. I was trying to give you some clues along the way, and now we know what a scrub is. Well, we know 4 or 5 different uses of the word scrub, but let's see what a scrub is according to TLC. They say a scrub is a guy that thinks he's fly. Fly? Volar? Una mosca? No, fly is guay, right? It's a slang term for you think you're fly, guapete, guay. So a scrub is a guy that thinks he's fly. He's also known as a buster. He's always talking about what he wants, siempre hablando de lo que quiere, and just sits on his broke ass. Y ahí se queda quieto, sin acción, en su culo, sentado en su culo, sin dinero. Broke ass. No es que está roto, sino sería broken. En este caso, his broke ass, que no tiene pasta. So no, I don't want your number. You probably know the song. It's so catchy. I don't want to give you mine. No te quiero dar el mío. And no, I don't want to meet you nowhere. No quiero quedar contigo en ningún sitio. And I don't want none of your time. No, I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride. I'll let them sing it. They sing it better. All right, folks, we'll be right back with an awesome surprise. Exclusively for you, Show with No Namers, you're going to have access to a bonus episode of FYI. That's right. Remember I told you about the skyscrapers episode? Well, you've got it coming up next, exclusively for you, Show with No Namers, for being FYIers as well. I don't want your number. I can't get no. Sing it. Hanging out the passenger side. We'll be right back, folks. Stick around. I don't want no scrub. Enjoy, amigos. Hello, and welcome to the bonus episode of today's FYI on skyscrapers. If you learned anything in the first part, hopefully you learned how to pronounce it correctly. Skyscrapers. Buildings that scrape the sky. All right, well, we already said that the tallest one in the world at the time of this recording is the Burj Khalifa. And that is 828 meters tall. 830 if you count to the tip. I have to be honest, I don't want to go to Dubai, but the building looks awesome. The fountains below. I love how it's got like a tapered thing going on. I mean, it's a beautiful building, and it's held the title for quite some time. Number 2 at the time of this recording is Merdeka 118, and this is located in Malaysia. Number 3 is the Tokyo Sky Tree, obviously located in Tokyo. And Tokyo is an awesome city if you love skyscrapers. If you remember in the Tokyo episode of FYI, I told you have to go to the Tokyo government building. You can get on the roof for free and get some of the coolest views of Tokyo. Then you've got in 4th place, the Shanghai Tower in Shanghai, China. That one has the record for the fastest elevator. Can you guess how fast it goes? 46 miles per hour. That's 74 kilometers per hour. That's faster than some mopeds. And in the 5th spot at the time of this recording is the Canton Tower. But as I said, the Burj Khalifa may not hold the top spot for much longer. Right now, there's something called the Jeddah Tower in Saudi Arabia. If and when it's completed, it will be the world's tallest building. It'll be 1 kilometer tall, 1,000 meters tall. There's just one problem. They started the construction project, but now, after 5 years of inactivity, it looked like nothing was going to go on. And now it seems like they're building it again. In 2023, there's been some movement on the construction site. So that's another thing, too, coming from the Tower of Babel. So many towers that have been built have never been opened, or they've run over budget, or maybe they were just building them to launder money. But a lot of the towers that get planned don't ever get made. Some don't even get past the planning stages. A lot of them look really nice on paper, and they make some really nice mock-ups. A mock-up is another way of saying a model, but you never actually see the thing. That happens in the aviation world, too. So, for now, the Burj Khalifa has the title. But Saudi Arabia, they're going with a new slogan, go big or go home. The reason I say that is whether this tower gets built or not, Saudi Arabia is building the biggest roller coaster in the world right now as we speak. I think it's called Falcon's Fury, and it's not done yet. There is a video of it, a rendering of it on YouTube, but it's not just a big coaster. It is going to blow all the other records out of the water. Speed, height, inversions. So it seems like Saudi Arabia is investing a lot of money in tourism. I guess the petroleum business isn't going as well as it was in past years. I guess it's also what happened in Dubai. They're diversifying. It makes sense. You shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. Hey, wait, that's an idiomatic expression we looked at last week when we looked at Easter. Anyway, stay tuned. Keep an eye on Saudi Arabia because they're building some big things. We'll see if they ever see the light of day, though. We're going to go back over to New York City right now to Billionaires Row, La Avenida de los Billonarios. And this is a name that is given to a group of ultra-luxury residential skyscrapers, and it's the area surrounding them. It's at the southern end of Central Park, and these buildings, many of them are what are called the super tall category. That means they're over 300 meters tall. And some of these residential buildings are among the tallest in the world. A lot of them are along 57th Street. And even when you're arriving at JFK or at Newark Airport, you can see these buildings from a mile away. They're not only tall, but they are ugly. They are really ugly. One of them was even designed to look like a garbage can. Okay, the views might be unparalleled, but what about the rest of us who don't live there, who aren't billionaires and have to look at the damn thing and have to deal with the shade that it causes? And I've seen a few documentaries where these buildings are giving people a lot of problems. I mean, you can only go so high and keep everything under control. But since this is all about making money, a lot of times they don't take into consideration the greatest building codes or greatest materials. But let me give you an example of how much a luxury apartment there goes for. The top 2 floors of one of these buildings on Billionaires Row, the building's called 157, sold to Michael Dell for $100.47 million in 2015. This set a record for the most expensive apartment ever sold in New York. And as I said, these projects have their share of controversy. Not just the people who have to look at them, but the people who live there as well are saying these are not the greatest conditions. They're paying top dollar, and these apartments are having a lot of problems. And as I said before, if you live in the shadow of this building, goodbye to your view forever. You're not going to feel sunlight on your face ever again. And as of August 2021, I took a look at some figures. An estimated 44% of the units in these buildings collectively still hadn't been sold. So that's almost 50% that are empty in the most expensive city in the world. And it's not like they're apartments nobody can see. That's whole floors that are empty. But a lot of people say, too, that the apartments that are there are pretty empty as well, because the people who buy them as an investment or as a way to avoid tax, or as we mentioned before, money laundering, wealth transfer. Maybe they just need to have a residence there, and some of them can use them as their big, huge safety deposit boxes. So I think, everything's got a middle ground, and with these buildings, we've gone too far. It's not just my opinion. And look at how the skyline of New York City has changed. What happened to those beautiful buildings? The ones from yesteryear. I mean, they're still there, a lot of them, but now they're being dwarfed by these ugly, tall garbage cans. Now, if you're offering to buy me one of those apartments, I won't turn it down. But I don't think it's the most That happened with the internet a lot. The word wall used to be something in a building. Now it's where you put your pictures. To post something used to be put it in the mail. Now it means put it on social media. And to tweet, that's something a bird did. And each of these buildings has their own story or collection of stories. For example, when the Chrysler Building was being built, it was competing with another building which was also underway. That building was called the Manhattan Trust Bank Building, located at 40 Wall Street. And their goal was to make it the world's tallest building. Well, William Van Allen, he was not having it. Let me tell you about William Van Allen, the architect of the Chrysler Building. Well, he was tricked by his former partners, two guys named H. Craig Severance and Yasuo Matsui. And they were the guys who were designing 40 Wall Street while he was designing the Chrysler Building. The Chrysler Building was supposed to be 925 feet. Well, at the last minute, the design of 40 Wall Street was changed from 840 feet to 927 feet. If you did the math, that's 2 feet taller than the Chrysler Building. So his rivals, his ex-partners, went behind his back and changed the blueprints to make the Manhattan Trust Bank Building at 40 Wall Street just a mere 2 feet taller. But William Van Allen, well, he woke up early that morning, and he was not going to be tricked, not by some ex-coworkers of his. And so what he did was he had a spire secretly built, and this was being built as they were finishing up the 40 Wall Street Tower. But it was being built in secret. And then when 40 Wall Street topped off, and to top off es llegar a la cima, no construir más, terminar, construcción, to reach the top floor, Van Allen came out with his spire that he had been building secretly, and he put it on top of the Chrysler Building, and he stole the title. So it was a war. There was, betrayal. There were secrets, hidden blueprints, but it worked. William Van Allen got his way, and the Chrysler Building officially was taller than the Manhattan Trust Bank Building. The twist at the end of the story, the Chrysler Building only held the title for 11 months. Even though it's still an iconic building, the Empire State Building came in and took the title. And an interesting fact about the Empire State Building is that it had plans, in the original plans, for a mooring mast for dirigibles. Now, what does that mean? That means a place where you can park and tie your Zeppelins up. Remember, that was a very common form of travel back then. But that idea never took off and was never included in the final plans. But the Empire State Building didn't hold the record for 11 months. No, it was the world's, not the United States's, the world's tallest skyscraper for 41 years. That is a record of its own because it is the longest period any skyscraper has ever held the record. And the Empire State Building is in movies. It is iconic. King Kong, baby. But we'll talk about movies in a little bit. We're going to talk about swaying now. And to sway is to move from side to side. Yeah, when you're dancing, it's a good thing. Maybe when you're on a boat, it's okay. But a skyscraper? Well, don't worry. They were designed to sway in the wind. They're not supposed to be rigid. They're supposed to go with the flow. Just to give you an example, the Chicago Willis Tower, no, I refuse to call it that. The Sears Tower is known to sway about 3 feet in each direction. That's a little bit under a meter. They say you don't really feel it, but I don't know, and I'm not going to take their word for it. I was lucky because when we were in Chicago, it wasn't too windy, even though it's called the Windy City. But I highly recommend it. If you go to Chicago, you've got to do the River Architecture Tour, and then you've got to go do the Skywalk. The Skywalk, I think it's called the Skywalk. Either way, it's the viewing platform on top of the Sears Tower. Bueno, busca Willis Tower. Pero nadie lo llama así. You can't just change the name of an iconic building. Think about if they changed the name of the Empire State Building, the Netflix State Building. Yeah, right. Never going to call it that. I don't care how much they paid. and you're not going to sway me. Hey, there's that word sway we just looked at. To sway also means to convince. But it's not only the wind that affects the skyscrapers, it's skyscrapers that also alter the local wind patterns. Tall buildings produce wind tunnels. If you've ever been to New York City, you'll know what I'm talking about. And this blows a fierce wind at ground level. Also, the structure works as a barrier, so it allows polluted air to stay down in there. We already said, too, it removes sunlight, creating a lot of extra shade. And as I said, I think if you're living in it, great. But if not, it's just a big eyesore, unless it's a beautiful one, like the Empire State Building, which I remember when I lived in New York City. I lived on 28th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue. And I remember from my street, you could see the Empire State Building. And every day it was a reminder of where I lived. Here's another fun fact. This one's about the Burj Khalifa. Did you know you could see a double sunset? That's right. You can experience 2 sunsets in a day. Because buildings like the Burj Khalifa are so tall, you can see the sunset from the base of the building. Then you can take the elevator all the way to the top and watch it again. Due to the height, the 2 sunsets occur around 3 minutes apart. And if it takes less than a minute to get up there on the elevator, well, then you've got plenty of time to get up there to watch the sunrise again. That's gotta be awesome. Again, I'm not interested in going to Dubai, but if anybody goes, let me know. Try that. You got to get up early at the crack of dawn. We're also going to talk about death rays. What? Death rays? Well, no, I'm not talking about some kind of space laser gun. I'm talking about the fact that these buildings, they're often made of mirrors and metal. And what do mirrors and metal do with sunlight and heat? That's right. They turn them into a death ray. The famous, or I should say infamous, walkie-talkie skyscraper in London has a curved concave surface on one side, and it focuses the light into a narrow beam. In 2013, a car ended up entirely melted because it was parked adjacent to this building. There's another one in Las Vegas like that as well. We talked about it in our Las Vegas episode, if I'm not mistaken. So are these people building buildings, skyscrapers, or futuristic weapons? That's crazy, though, that it melted the car and its components. The good thing is I don't think anybody was injured in that one as far as I know. But there have been many disasters in the world of skyscrapers, not just the Twin Towers in the United States. In 1995, the Sampoong department store in Seoul, South Korea, fell to the ground in around 20 seconds. 502 people were killed, 937 were injured. And the problem was criminal negligence on behalf of the engineers. Also, shoddy construction on behalf of the builders. It was an example of how not to build a building ever again. There was another one in Brazil called the 3 high-rise office buildings in Rio de Janeiro. And this was a 20-story building, and it spontaneously collapsed. It crashed into another 10-story building, and then another one. It was like dominoes, and it resulted in 3 piles of rubble. And again, it was due to illegal construction. I understand you're trying to cut corners and save money, but when lives are lost, you're doing it wrong. Reminds me of the aviation industry lately, the Boeing company. They've been trying to save money so much lately that their planes are unsafe. They've had too many problems. And we're not talking about a garden hose. We're talking about an airplane with 500 people on board, or a building with thousands of people in it. Another one that collapsed to the ground in less than 60 seconds was in Singapore, another amazing city if you love your skyscrapers. But this was in 1986, and it turned out there was a fatal error in the design of the building. What one hopes is that we will learn from these disasters, but something tells me you're still going to have cheapskates out there trying to save a buck at what cost? Let's take a look at some skyscrapers in pop culture. We already mentioned King Kong. That's an iconic shot. King Kong on top of the tower, holding on to the spire. I know you can all see it in your heads right now. What about Nakatomi Tower? This isn't a real tower. This is the fictional tower from Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Which means a muerte. Are you a Die Hard FYI fan? There's even a movie called Skyscraper. I think it stars The Rock. And then David Lee Roth, the lead singer of Van Halen, released an album called Skyscraper. And don't forget about the classic The Towering Inferno, or Tower Heist. A heist is a big robbery. Or High Rise, which, as we've seen, is another way to say a tall building, a skyscraper, a high-rise building. And one I highly recommend, it's called The Walk. And it's about this guy who tightrope walked between the Twin Towers. It's a fascinating story, and I highly recommend it. Let's listen to the trailer.
When people ask me, why do you risk death? For me, this is life. Welcome to New York. Anything to declare? I'm going to hang a high wire between the two towers of the World Trade Center and walk on it. Good luck. No matter where I was going or what I was doing, I was always searching, looking for the perfect place to hang my wire. Whoa. I need you to help me pull this off. I got just the guys. Now it starts.
Come on, make it snappy. I'm in a red zone.
I'll figure out how to get the wire across. I think we should wait.
No!
This is extremely illegal, not to mention dangerous.
My head is full of doubts. When it's time to step on the wire, I don't know if I'll be able to take my first step.
Your heart will tell you what to do.
The man is obviously crazy. Are we just here to watch him die?
This isn't a game, Philippe. One mistake out there, and you're going to die.
Again, it's called The Walk, and I believe you can find it on Netflix. Let's take a look at some idiomatic expressions as well. Are you the kind of person who builds castles in the sky? It reminds me of a techno song from the 90s. Oh, tell me why do we build castles in the sky? Oh, tell me why. Means we're living in a dream world. We looked at the word tower before. If something towers over something, it means it's a lot taller. I know you know the word tower as a noun, but I wanted to teach it to you as a verb too. In some cities, there's one skyscraper, and it towers over all of them. That's another thing we didn't mention. Everything in context. An 80-story building in New York City doesn't stand out. In the middle of Jaén, it would be the biggest eyesore ever. So that's another thing to take into consideration, their environment. Something I don't think was done in Benidorm. That's another one that received a lot of criticism. But I guess there were many people who wanted to get a bird's eye view of the beach. I don't think I would ever want to live in a skyscraper, at least not at the top. Just in case. I like being grounded. I like my feet on the ground, even though my head is in the clouds. I don't like dizzying heights. It's not that I'm afraid of heights. I just prefer to be closer to the ground. I don't know what I would do if there was a fire and I was living in a penthouse. I would probably hit the roof. This is an idiomatic expression that means to be really angry, to lose your temper. An expression we've looked at in the past here is to burn bridges. You say cerrar puertas. Well, you can build bridges or you can burn them. I recommend you build them instead of burning them. But if you're going to build them on solid ground. You say tierra firme. Because as with anything, you need a solid foundation. Not just when you're building a building, but when you're learning a language. You got to make sure you know the building blocks, the basics, the bare bones. And if you have a strong foundation, you can build your spire higher and higher. And that's my advice to you. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episodes of FYI.